All right, so this lesson is going to be on finding equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions. So equivalent fractions means write down 5 other fractions that are equal to 3/5, that have the same value. Um, one thing I want you to think about, the value of 3/5, if you want to change that into a decimal, it would be 3 divided by 5, which is 0.6. So that's the value of 3/5 as a decimal. So I want to write 5 other fractions that also are equal to 0.6. All right, and this is really easy. So you can do anything you want to a fraction and not change its value. I shouldn't say that. You can you can make equivalent fractions by just multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So if I was to multiply 3/5 times 2 over 2, the reason why this doesn't change the value is because 2 over 2 is really just equal to 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So if I multiply something by 1, it doesn't change its value. So if I multiply this by 2, I get 6/10. Well, if you take 6 divided by 10, you also get 0.6. So 6/10 is an equivalent fraction. All right, so let's find another equivalent fraction. All right, so instead of multiplying by 2 over 2, I'll multiply by 3 over 3, which is still 1. And there I get 9/15. If you divide 9 by 15, you'll get 0.6. So 3/5 times 4 over 4, get 12/20. 3/5 times 5 over 5, get 15/25. All of these fractions, by the way, if I was to simplify these, they would all simplify back to 3/5 because they're equivalent. So to simplify these, I'm actually just doing the opposite of what I just did. So if I wanted to simplify this, I would divide both of these numbers by 2, which is their greatest common factor. All right, and then I guess I need one more. So guess what? We're going to do 3/5 times, oh, let's change it up. Let's make it 10 over 10. And I get 30/50. All right, so that's all there is to writing equivalent fractions. All of these fractions are the same. If you divide them, they all come out to 0.6. If you simplify them, they all come out to 3/5. All right, so let's look at simplifying. So simplifying, like I said, you're actually doing the opposite. Instead of multiplying them by the same thing, you're dividing them. So they simplify 9/24. And what you want to do is find the greatest common factor of 9 and 24. And if you haven't seen that lesson, I have a lesson on that. You can go watch the video on that. So of 9 and 24. So when I'm finding greatest common factor, what I think about is I think, what's the largest number that I can divide both of these by? That number is the biggest factor they have in common. In this case, the greatest common factor between these is 3. So what I'm going to do to simplify this is divide these by 3. So it's the opposite of what we just did. Instead of multiplying, we're dividing. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. These don't have any other common factors besides 1, so it can't be simplified any further. And by the way, 3/8 and 9/24 are equivalent fractions. They're equal to each other. 3/8 is just written in a simpler form. All right, so that's all there is to it. So I hope that that was helpful and useful. If so, give it a like and a subscribe, and feel free to leave me a comment. Until next time.